Hello and welcome to another episode from the Real Talk and Revenue podcast. We have myself, Francesca, the accountant, and we have Jordan, the therapist, and we bring real powerful conversations around building revenue, building confidence, how the mindset works, all different discussions around to help others in business and in their personal life. So listen in, tune in, let us know what you think, ask questions along the way and we'll be sure to answer them. Enjoy. Feel like, not that I'm coming down, well, yeah, I feel like I'm coming down with something.
There's so much going round.
Yeah.
I've had a little cold, George's had like a bug.
Steve's had a bug. It's just like one at that time of the year.
I know.
So I was meant to go to the gym this morning. No, I say I meant to. I put it in my diary to go to the gym this morning, so that's what I do. And then I saw it last night and I thought, well, a meeting had been cancelled at 1. Right. So I thought, you know what, it gives me a chance to get up, get moving,
and feel a bit better.
Yeah, warm up, feel a bit better. I don't feel weak in my body, which is good. I just feel a bit like, a bit glandy. Yeah. A bit throaty. Yeah. So I'm going at 1. Which is always harder to go in the afternoons.
It is, but like you say, I think sometimes you always feel a bit rougher when you get up if you're not feeling 100%.
100%.
Whereas if you can just like get dressed, you know, get showered or wash your face, whatever. Yeah. Have some food and I
do feel a bit brighter, but I also know now it's in my diary. We're talking about this. I will stick to it, even if I do something and it's not a full session.
That's it, yeah.
Because we are talking about time management. And
we are.
Where do you begin with this? So
I know it'd be an interesting one. Why did we say we were going to? Oh, because I said I haven't got time, and then I swiftly went to say I don't prioritise cleaning the house.
Yes, that was it. It was all about cleaners and this, that, the other, and investing. I think people to help you. And since having a business that looks after loads of hundreds of businesses, I've learned so much. Like about what business owners say, employees say to me, past stuff, learning stuff in my 20s, potentially me saying, I ain't got time for that, I must have said it so many times, no doubt. Yeah. And people that are listening will definitely have said, I haven't got time for that.
We all have and we all
do.
Default. Yeah.
So why do you think that people just say, I haven't got, because it's not priority? You said that.
Because it's not a priority and because people feel overwhelmed. Like, because the truth of the matter is, you can't do it all. Like, you genuinely can't. Like, you have to decide. Like, nowadays, I, like, mentally rate the importance of things in my brain. Like, and there's certain things that need to come first. Do you know what I mean? Like, I need to make sure that I'm up and dressed and that, like, I'll now make sure that me and Hallie are fed before I put makeup on, for example. Do you know what I mean?
Routine.
So, sort of, and you know, things don't always go to plan when you've got a baby, but like, I'll constantly be reshuffling, like, in my mind what's the most important thing for me to do next. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a good thing. It's a thinking ahead thing, isn't it, that many don't do. They live in the moment, don't they, and don't think, if I did that, that's the consequence of that.
Yeah.
And that's how I live. What I learned picking up on thinking ahead too much and what caused me my eating problem and my having social situations, I would know. I potentially told myself I'd feel like that next week for a social event, so I would have to cancel it. Yeah. And it's thinking ahead, if I eat that now, and then I'm going out for food next week. Yeah. But that's bad. That's a detrimental act.
Yeah.
But in a good act towards that for the business, if I hired someone now. Yeah. For a year down, and I do think like that, but it's always bad to good.
Future planning.
Yeah, future plan everything though, and it can get. But with time.
Yeah, you need a bit of spontaneity and a bit of go with the flow. But there are certain, like you say it all the time, but there are certain routine things that can just make your life easier.
Daily habits. Yeah, I just thought. Yeah. It's interesting because I had to literally, at 25, 26, I literally thought, I've got to transform my life. But I didn't do it in one massive loads of things at once. And I don't even know what I started with, but it was something really small. Yeah. I think it was like for saving money, and I didn't even know about buying a house or whatever. But I thought if I save and I meet someone in the future, I used to always think if I just meet somebody that's got a business behind them, but a good job, they'll be able to help me. No one is coming to save you. You've got to help yourself and do it for yourself first. Yeah. And as a woman, when you do those things and prioritise time and what will work for you, you become a better person and a more confident person for the right guy.
Yeah.
For example, in my situation.
Yeah.
I'm just going off mine.
It's that classic, you attract what you put out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so cliche, but so true.
It is true. And I feel like if you kind of like desperate to meet someone to save you, you're open to all the wrong people, aren't you?
And that's, you know, when you hear of people in like being treated so unfairly in a relationship, like really unfairly, you think, they've been let down and they get back together. You know what I'm watching, right, which is really interesting, jumping the subject. Colleen Rooney, Wagatha Christie.
Oh, right.
Story. Anyway.
Yeah.
So she's been on I'm a Celeb. I've only watched snippets of it. I'm probably giving up on that.
You mentioned that and how like you were like surprised, or people were surprised about
her.
Yeah. And it gives you a snippet into wanting to know a bit more, doesn't it?
So then I'm watching the documentary.
Yeah.
And me and Steve are watching it. Steve was a bit like, well, watching this. But actually, it's really interesting how she met Wayne Rooney at 16, thrown into the limelight.
Yeah.
She was a grade A student that just basically finished school and thought, you know what, this is the limelight. This is where I'm going now.
Yeah.
But then he did things like cheat on her and do some more, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but on the documentary it says, and she keeps going back. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's a little bit different. I don't know. It's not like he's treating her like really badly abusive or whatever. It's hard. What's a bad relationship to a good one? It's so difficult, isn't it?
It is.
Interesting.
It is. That's a whole other
that's a whole other episode. Back to time management.
Yeah.
So the things that I did, let's think about things that will help others with time management, because that's such a big thing, especially in business and as an employee.
It is. You're not just talking about time management here necessarily, are you? Because you're talking about like money management and I suppose like sacrificing certain things in favour of like future you. And this is what's so hard to do. It's really hard because we are like hardwired, you know, if we can get that dopamine hit now. There was a study done, I can't remember it and I can't remember all the details, but it was like people were offered, say, like you can have 50 quid in your pocket now, or if you wait like 2 years, you can have like £300 or something.
Yeah.
And like an unprecedented amount of those participants took the 50 quid now. Do you know what I mean?
What would I have done?
You'd have waited.
Yeah. But it's interesting.
We struggle sometimes, don't we, though,
to be patient.
Yeah, to be patient and think, like, if I put the work in now, I'm not going to see instant results, but, like, it'll come.
And also, when I was in my 20s, I did, at the time, when I look back now, you were so young, at the time I felt I was past it. You know, when I started at Duncan and Topless Accountants.
Oh, my God.
I know, but I was 28 when I started there. I was ancient compared to the younger generation they had coming in as their chartered students.
Why do you think that is?
Because of the, that's the accounting industry for you.
But, like, why do you think society's, like, set us up to believe, you know, that, like, in your 20s, you're past it? Like, is it worth investing in something new? Like...
It's so true.
Do you know what I mean?
And I still felt like that up until, like, someone said to me in my 20s, you'll get married at 39. I'll be like, not in a cat and hell's chance.
It's too late.
It's too late. I'm too old. And I'd look rank in a dress. How bad's that?
It's horrible.
I wish I could have, I know I said it to people.
Yeah.
I remember saying it in my 20s, because they'll be like, you could get married in your late 30s, it doesn't matter.
It's the conditioned narrative again, isn't it? You know, that says, like, you leave school,
but I've done one of those things.
Yeah, but you get a decent job, or you go to uni, you know, you get a partner, get married, buy a house, have children. It's that though, isn't it? And it's that tells you, because a lot of people are like, by 30, all of that needs to have come together. And it's just like, wow. What pressure?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What pressure?
Well, by next week, I will be doing this.
Yeah.
By next month, I'll definitely do my diet.
Do you know what's funny? I'm working with a client at the minute who, because of, like, financial pressure and wanting to cancel insurance, they keep saying, like, well, do you think we'll be finished with this piece of work by, you know, like, in 1 month? And then now it's like next week. And because of the pressure of needing to be better by that date, it's been really detrimental
That's
to
interesting.
the therapy process. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's that desperation of like, well, I'm not feeling like better enough right
Time
now.
pressure.
And I'm like, this is so counterproductive. And I understand the logistics around it, like, but you know that like aggressively needing to be better now, like our brains don't work like that.
It's interesting you should say that, because I wonder if a therapist said to me, by this time I need you to be doing this, I think I'd go all out. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's not imposed by me. Do you know what I mean? It is by her. And I said,
you definitely wouldn't say any. I don't think any therapist does.
No, I mean, sometimes, especially within certain frameworks, we can say like, you know, an average of, let's say, like 8 to 12 sessions, or within these circumstances, an average of like 8 to 20.
To get better, you mean? To see results?
To see some results, to start to feel better. Like, and there's always the caveat that, like, for some people it will take longer, and for some people you won't need that long either. Like, it's how long is a piece of string.
Yeah, get that.
And, you know, how you're responding, how you take to certain things, how your brain's processing things. Like, you can never be sure. And it's really hard, isn't it? Like, and again, this client's like, well, I feel like I should be feeling better by now. Like, I've done enough work. And I'm a bit like, this in itself, you know, the acceptance that actually, like, sometimes it's going to take more than one try to feel, like, to really get to where you want to be and to feel better with sustained change and effort and stuff like that. And there are some things that people aren't willing to do that are keeping them stuck.
Yeah.
You know, like open up to partners and actually be honest about what's going on for them, or you know, things like that. That blocks the progress, because like, how can you move forward if you're still like gripping onto a secret and feeling shame around certain things? Like, that's challenging, isn't it?
So challenging when you say it like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it just made me think about that, you know, in a completely different way to, you know, how you might have other types of goals. But I think a lot of the time we have to kind of go, this might take me a long time, and it might be a long-term investment. And sometimes it's going to be harder than others. And sometimes I'm going to feel like I'm not doing enough, or I've had a step back, or, you know, I've failed and things haven't gone quite right or how I planned. But you've got to persevere to get where you want to be.
Right, so the only example...
We speak about this before, don't we?
Yeah, no, I love that, because the only example I can give is learning to swim as an adult. So what was I, 34, when I decided I want to learn to swim, because I had an accident as a kid, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I went for my first lesson, shaking, nervous, so nervous. I felt like an idiot. I felt like a kid.
Yeah.
She treated me like one in a way, because kids normally get taught to swim.
And you kind of have to, because...
You have to embrace it.
Yeah, and the fear in you,
oh God,
that needs compassion. And sometimes when we're given compassion or like nurturing or encouragement, we feel like childish.
Yeah, childlike.
But it's not. It's what we need. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the first 2 lessons, so bearing in mind I'm paying for half an hour, I'm paying £100, for example, something like that. 90 quid. I can't remember the exact. Yeah, ridiculous. Not ridiculous. It's an investment.
Yeah.
First 2 lessons, I'm blowing bubbles, for God's sake.
Yeah.
It's so easy to go, I ain't going back. I've got no improvement from that.
Exactly.
But what she was doing is a steady state, like treating me like she would a kid.
Yeah.
Not as in, come on then.
Yeah.
So I remember doing that, and it took up to 2 years.
That's it.
Of persevering.
Yeah.
And going back for more and going back for more.
And probably like some tears and being like, I don't want to do it. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Why do I need to learn to swim? I'm not bothered. Like, yeah, but sometimes like that.
It's your why that keeps you back.
And then going, no, I can do it. I'm going to keep going, like persevering. Yeah. Because you valued it. It was important to you.
Yeah, no, I valued the amount of times people would say, I hold on to things, I take everything as gospel, you know what I'm like, but if someone said to me, oh, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
Or I suppose I must have had someone say, you can't be doing that. Or there's no point in doing that now. No one really does learn to swim as an adult as much as...
I don't know, though.
I need to hear more stories.
There's a reason that you have adult lessons. Like, I think it'd be more than what you think, but it's easy for you to say that because you don't know anyone in your circle.
And if I did, nearly put me off because no one's doing it. Well, who does that? I still think now.
Yeah.
And it's like, when I went to Thailand, I met a girl that was 22.
Yeah.
She's scared of the water. I didn't want to go in. I didn't want to go on a boat.
Yeah.
She says, there's no way I'll learn. I said, at 22, I'd have said the same.
Yeah.
I said, I did it 10 years later when your brain's a bit more mature.
Yeah.
I said, she's like, oh my God.
And you're not scared of looking like an idiot as well.
People don't like to look like an idiot.
No, we don't like to do something if we're not going to be good at it. Like...
So I think people that, I'm just going to say, you've got to be prepared to be laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
Don't take yourself so seriously to do the new things, to go to that therapy session, to go to that swim lesson, to go to the gym and let people, who cares if you pick up a dumbbell wrong?
Yeah.
Or you hold it higher than you meant to, or you pull the wrong thing down, or you ask for help.
Yeah. So when we're talking about time management, we've moved into sort of like time frames, haven't we, and being patient.
Yeah.
But it does tie in because, again, like these sorts of things, any kind of goal requires like a constant commitment, doesn't it? And if you're going to commit to something, then you need to make time for it.
Yeah.
So you're going to schedule it in at some point, aren't you? Once a week or whatever. You know,
Put it in your diary.
And again, I think people can have this all or nothing attitude where, like, if I can't go every day or if I can't do it 3 times a week or whatever it might be, not doing it all. What's 1 hour a week going to do? And it's like that 1 hour a week over a year.
So true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's so true. They do. It's interesting because...
I know it because I've been like that before because I've got quite an obsessive brain.
Yeah.
Like we were saying last time, and I feel like if I can't deep dive into something, I struggle to just touch
Skim
in and
over
out
it
of things. I like to just really absorb myself into something.
Yeah, and that's obviously, I've become obsessed with fitness and it's part of my life and blah, blah, blah. I can't imagine myself not doing it. Touch wood, just in case it ever just clicks in my brain. But what do you become obsessed with, and is it helpful stuff?
It can be anything. So it might be like a particular problem that I'm working with at work. So say I'm doing EMDR and I'm working with a client, for argument's sake, that's had like a car accident and they've got a specific set of beliefs. Might do a bit of research, make sure I can like really, obviously I've got I don't need to do this. Like, I can go in and treat people without having to do loads of research and stuff like that. I've got the knowledge. Yeah. But I like to be like, how can I best...
You're personalising it to each individual, which is really good. So I might
think, oh, that's interesting. Like, this is sticking. Like, why is this sticking? And then I might go to supervision and like ask a consultant about it. They'll give me a few ideas. And then this happened a couple of weeks ago. And then I was like, really had to fight the urge because I desperately wanted to just like dive into a book and like start researching and learning more on these particular set of beliefs and topics and stuff. But I couldn't do it because after that, I had to go and parent. Do you know what I mean?
So what do you mean by that then? So I think it's brilliant that you want to read a book, but you want about timings of it. It's not the right time, or you shouldn't be doing it.
No, just that like I can't, like before I'd have been able to do that. Like my time was my own.
So
I could have just taken that, you know, maybe the next 4 hours to really like obsess over it, write things down, like, absorb it and then go into the session with a plan and this sort of thing. And like I say, that's not essential.
It's not essential. You're not saying this is part of your role. This is extra to your role, isn't it? That you like to do.
Yeah, I mean, we have to do additional learning and stuff, but like not necessarily to the extent. But yeah, it sparks my interest, and then I want to run with it immediately. Mm-hmm. And then I struggle when I have to be like, oh, that's intrigued me. I'll, put that on my list of things I want to read about when I get a spare half an hour. Like, to me, the default part of my brain, if I've got a spare half an hour, I'm like, it's not good enough. Like, I want like 2 hours, I want a day, like, to be able to like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I do know exactly what you mean.
And it could be anything like that. It could happen with anything, like particularly like work-based stuff, anything. Like if I'm reading something particular, like obviously I'm just obsessed with psychology and the brain and self-help and stuff like that. So if I'm listening to a podcast and I'm like, oh, see, like women's health, anything I'm interested in, I'll be like, they've mentioned that book. well, I want to go and read that book now. I want to go and absorb that now, or I want to go and watch that documentary right now.
And then it never happens. So if it doesn't happen now, then what? Then you just forget about it and move on and you find another one?
No, it's in my mental load.
So do you write it down?
Sometimes, not most of the time, and it'll just be there in the back of my mind, coming up all the time.
I feel like
you want to do that, you want to do that, and then I get stressed because I'm like, I've got all these outstanding things. This is an insight into my brain. Do you know what I mean?
So the only reason why I keep saying write it down is because Steve did this. Obviously, I've been through some stresses this year with the business and changing directors and whatnot. And I had to write down some thought processes before bed.
Yeah.
And it does actually weirdly help.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But anything like that's effort. And people sometimes, even though they know it's good for them, why do we do this? Don't put their effort in. I know it's effort to do my marketing plan and write down each episode for what week. And I did it this morning. I even thought, forget it. But I know it's going to be good for the business, and it's scheduling and it's organising and blah, blah, blah.
We can often, be led with how we feel.
It's so true. So true.
We're emotional beings. So sometimes a lot of the time our emotions might get the better of us. We feel like, I haven't got it in me. I can't be bothered. Because we feel tired or we don't feel motivated. So then that negative voice kicks in. So
then when that happens to me, just to share out what I do quickly, is think about the future self.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, if you did do that marketing plan, though, it makes it so much easier because next week, when you're looking at it again, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then I'm on.
Whereas my brain will go, now, my, response that kicks in is, you can do it. If you don't have to do it all. I have to, coax myself into it. If it feels too much, do a bit of it. And that's how I'll coax myself on, now, when I'm trying to be my brain's trying to be all or nothing, I'll be like, 30 minutes can make a difference.
It can.
Yeah, of course it can. Over the week, if you did it every day, if you did it a couple of times, it's still an hour a week, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's my immediate voice is what's the point, all or nothing? And then I'm like, no, do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
It's okay, you might not be bothered, you're tired, and we can understand that. You're doing a lot, you've got a lot on your plate, but just do 10 minutes. And then more often than not, if I do 10 minutes, then I can do 30 minutes. And then when I've got to switch into another task, I think that's okay.
100%.
Just be a parent now, enjoy that. And then, you might have another half an hour later to be able to, do this again.
Your future self will thank you for it. That's what they say, isn't it?
Especially and then my brain now, when I talk about prioritising, I'll be like, okay, with that 30 minutes that you've got, during a nap or whatever, you can wash the dishes and sort the washing out, or you could sit down and read a book for 30 minutes. And then sometimes I think, right, well, I'll read that book now, because the washing and dishes can wait until a bit later on, and before I wouldn't have been able to do that. The house would always come first. But then my thinking is, well, you can wash the dishes and put the washing away, while Hallie's awake.
Yeah.
You can do that. Yeah. Or it can wait until tonight and you can do a quick whip round. Yeah. You won't probably have the energy to read a book necessarily, or the cognitive focus there by the end of the day, but you can do that now and then bump the other job.
That's it. It's about
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a juggle. It is a juggle.
We can talk about money management another episode, because with time management, there was something I was going to lead on to with what you just said, and I can't think now because I got excited about the money management stuff. This is what I do. Time.
Yeah.
Talking about, what did I say? I'm just thinking about conversation.
You were on about
what's going on about?
You were saying my voice will kick in and say what about your future self, and the goals you're working towards.
I think this is what I was going to say, but even working with the team and realising we don't need 2-3 of us to a meeting. Right, Tom, let's have less of a meeting.
Yeah.
I'm very good. I can be a bit too blunt and direct, right, straight away initially, and then sometimes when I get home, I'll look back and go, oh my God, I was so blunt and direct today on that, because if I say I'm going to have a half an hour meeting, you can imagine me.
Yeah.
I want to start putting my coat on after off. You know what I mean? I'm done.
Yeah.
And it can come across a bit look so rude.
Yeah.
It's not time for anyone. I don't mean it like that.
Yeah.
I don't mean it like that. But I also think too many people can have a meeting about a meeting and overrun and overtalk.
Oh, it's the worst. When I worked in the MOD, you'd be in meetings and I used to sit there thinking what's the point of this? Nothing's coming of it. We're speaking about the same thing week in, week out, same problem, no further forward. Boring.
Why do you think that? It's like, if I have a meeting, I want an ending point, an action point, and it's got to be done by the next one.
Yeah.
Simple in my head.
I know.
But I know it from having team and how people work. It's like you say, it's being dedicated to what you say you're going to do, to actually doing it. It's all good saying, I'm doing this. Well, show me then, action.
Yeah. And sometimes as well, like, if people don't see the value in the thing, or if they think like, oh, I've got lumbered with this shit job, great.
Yes.
You're going to procrastinate because you're not going to be like, oh, brilliant.
So how do I do that? How do you manage that then?
It's hard, isn't it? Because like we're all going to have to do bits sometimes that
we don't like,
are a means to an end. But I suppose you're just going to have to play to people's strengths. Like you need to know like what everyone's good at, what they genuinely enjoy doing, the parts of their role, and try.
Navigate that.
Yeah, navigate that.
Exactly
and
what I've been
divvy
doing.
up things. That's it. That's all you can do, isn't it? And then being like, look, you can do more of this because I know you enjoy it, but you are going to have to do a bit of this because like no one likes this.
Yeah, this is a
it's
one-off
boring,
project.
you know, or it's something that needs doing. Like, do it first. And
it is, and also it's with the time management. If you look down at your diary and go, oh. One, you did it to yourself, and we're all doing that. Two, do some of the hard stuff first.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll do that later. It's almost like get that horrible meeting done first. Get it done in the morning out of the way. I had to book a meeting, and that is a harder meeting than some meetings that I have. So I said to June, right, we're going to do that in the morning. Yeah, let's do that in the morning because then we can relax for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And it's managing your time. Don't put the hard stuff off. Make time.
Yeah.
I also think people do struggle to know what isn't a priority and what isn't, whether they even in a business. And if anyone listening, I don't know if they can help with this with questions, but it is knowing your priorities and understanding. Like for me at the beginning, I don't think my business partner understood how powerful marketing and sales was. Yeah. It's not just about doing a set of accounts for the year end. Yeah. It's a lot more than that, business is.
Yeah.
And like, even outsiders looking at social media and going, oh God, she's posting that she's doing that and that. What is she actually doing? Yeah. And I'm like, people don't understand to prioritise time. So people will stop doing the thing when they get busy. Well, actually needs to keep doing that
me.
thing. Yeah. And I'll say that to all my clients. They say, especially if you lose a few and they go, oh, I'll have to go back to my marketing. Yeah. Please do your marketing as well as being busy. And if you are busy, you pay someone, it's so obvious to me, but it's not, I know I make it sound easy.
Like it's a case of like boom and bust. So I'm like, I've got a diary full of clients and I just don't have capacity, like the mental capacity in me to do it. Do you know what I mean? When I've had a diary full of clients. So I know, and this is what I'm trying to do into the new year when I've had a couple of discharges that are coming, like by the end of Christmas, like I'll have a couple of people that are exiting because they've done well. And I know that I'm like, it's so easy for me to be like, right, well, I need to get 2 more in. But I'm like, no, I'll have 1 more in. And then that hour, that is going to be consistent marketing. And it's going to be in my diary as that, not to be, do you know what I mean? As if it was a client appointment, like, because it is important, like the consistency is important. And I can't just be in like, it doesn't mean anything if I'm like posting something regularly 1 month and then the next 3 I'm not there.
Exactly that.
You know, and that's more important to me now. And also I do enjoy it when I've got the time and space. I like doing it. It's something different, you know.
The only other thing I could advise anyone is another episode as well, motivation, discipline, and then money management, just saying it out there. But do you have a bank of old content? So just say that video you did back a year ago that you uploaded, that funny... have you got a bank of old content or old posts you've done?
I suppose not.
A system.
Not outside of where it is, you know, say on Instagram. Like, it's on Instagram, but I won't have a bank of it elsewhere.
So that's what you need to start thinking about, especially... I would do... So to time management again. Build half a day of loads of content. Yeah. Even if... short little things, short posts, a selfie with a post, put it in a bank of a folder or something there, and you can post on the days you don't feel like it. Yeah. So for example, on my LinkedIn, I can't be arsed sometimes. I will go back on my phone to 2 years ago and I've got a post I wrote that's saved. Yeah. I change it, and then put it out there with a new, fresh picture.
Yeah.
A whole new post. It's simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's without me really thinking about it. And then once I've done it, I'm really excited and energized again.
Yeah.
Because I've done the thing that I was putting off.
Yeah, definitely.
And it'll be the same for you. You'll be like, oh, that wasn't as bad now because I've actually not had to put much effort in because I've got a bank of content.
Yeah.
But it's creating that bank initially is the painful bit.
Yeah, that's like a savings account for marketing, isn't it?
It is a savings account for marketing. I love that. Transfer the pot of marketing into another pot, ready for another day.
Yeah.
When you don't feel like it as much.
Yeah, exactly.
And any business owner or employee won't feel like a lot of stuff a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But your brains are very good at telling you, oh, that's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
You haven't got time for that. Don't do that.
You don't feel like it.
Yeah, stop doing that.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the gym. Again, I'm going to go at 1. I'm saying it again because I'm obviously wavering. Because my future self will thank me for that other step forward. And before I had high rocks or an event to do and before I had little mini goals, the reason why I kept going is that I liked, like you, I think I've told you this before about having kids but having a good body with it.
Yeah.
And proving to people that said, oh, your body, because I was only 20 when I fell pregnant, your body's going to change, your boobs are going to be hanging and all this, that and the other that you get told.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't look like you've had kids. What a comment.
Yeah.
What are you meant to look like? A big, a still pregnant belly after kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
did
do
for a while, don't
well,
you?
you do, the reality is you do for a little while.
Yeah.
But it's actually not as bad as you think.
No.
Especially when you look after yourself anyway.
Yeah.
But I just think I like having a better body and making work for it. And saying out loud, actually, it's really hard. I can't just eat all the cake all the time, even though I am in December.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of chocolate.
But see, when it comes to that kind of stuff, like, I get where you're coming from. But for me, I think, like I just think, like, especially for women after having children and stuff like that, like, it's no one's business. It's no one's business what your body looks like.
No.
I don't give a shit what you think about my body. I've just given birth to a baby.
What do you think about your body?
What now?
Yeah.
I suppose I think, like I've got a lot of respect for my body.
Yeah.
Like, especially after having a baby and, like, having a C-section and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, I remember in the early days looking at my body and thinking, like, my God, like, what it's been through.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I just thought, am I ever going to...
Traumatic.
It was not about appearance for me at all. I just thought, I don't know if I'm ever going to feel the same again.
Yeah.
Like, because it was a hard recovery. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I remember, like, I don't know, like, a couple of months later, like, feeling better, like, being more mobile and stuff like that, like, much more, obviously. And I remember looking in the mirror and being like, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, how amazing is that?
Yeah.
That you can literally have your whole stomach cut open, layers of muscle.
Yeah, it's weird.
And 2 months later, you're, like, trotting about.
Yeah.
Like, it's unreal. It is unreal.
What was your stomach like after 2 months? Do you remember?
It was still, like quite pouchy.
Because I remember mine being quite jellified for a while.
I've still got a bit of a pouch now because I haven't done any, like, intentional exercise apart from walking the dog. But I just look at it and I think, like, I never berate myself anymore. Like,
that's so good.
Not about my appearance, because I just think, what's the point? Like, it's horrible.
It is horrible. But I know, but that's how I work with my mind. I look at my belly all the time and go, oh, right, time for a trim up.
But I don't necessarily agree with that, because I think, right, if I'm going to go exercise or do something, it's not going to be to, like, whip my body into the shape that I think it should be. It's going to be like positive reinforcement for me is the thing. Like, I'm not going to motivate myself by being like, you're disgusting, like, or that's horrible.
Never say that.
Or,
no. I know
like,
what you mean, though.
You've let yourself go or whatever. I'll be like, okay, your body is what it is. It's done amazing things. Like, and this isn't how I always would have spoken to myself, obviously. I'll be like, right, well, we want to look after it, don't we?
Yeah.
Like, we want to look after your body.
Yeah.
We want to make sure you're fit and healthy for your daughter. Let's look after it. Do you know what I mean? Let's go and do some exercise. Your brain will feel better for it. Like, your body will get stronger.
Yeah.
And then if, as a result of that, I trim up a bit and my belly's not as, like, jiggly, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, I know what you mean, but it's interesting how you said, but that's fine. Because if you know what, I will be happy with fine. I want it to be, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good. And I'm like, so I look at myself in the mirror and go, yeah, look at that muscle definition there.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I put weight on, which I have at the minute, because we've been on holiday and obviously, I do go, oh, you know, when things start to feel tighter or fluffier. But because I'm so used to knowing what to do, it's such a habit now to then, after Christmas, I'll trim up, feel loose again. And then April comes and that's when I go wild again because it's Easter. So I have my little things, but mine's probably not 100% healthy. Obviously, I've been through it.
I don't think it is. But to be honest, I think we're hard pushed in our society to find, you know, people who are 100% like their worth isn't tied up in their like body and appearance. Like we are hard pushed for that because it is very much emphasised to us for, you know, for our whole lives and in particular for women.
It's so true.
So no, I don't think it's a healthy habit necessarily.
I admit that.
But like it's the same for a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? But also like there are people out there who just they got it. Like they know that like their worth is in no way whatsoever tied up in like
their size,
their body. And I think like we just in a way I think we need to just stop talking about people's bodies like that because like especially women as well. Do you know what I mean?
I
like,
do
it's not
100%
fair.
know what you mean, but I actually like the subject.
I know.
But it's weird.
Well, we're conditioned to.
It is. It's so true.
Like, oh, you've lost weight. We spoke about this before. Oh, you've lost weight.
Yeah.
Look at you. Oh, looks amazing. Like, and it's a nice thing to say, but I don't know. Like, can't we just be like, oh, what a lovely dress. Like, that looks amazing.
Or not even say that. People say, why can't you say you're a really nice person? Your personality's amazing.
Yeah.
But we don't do it. Because I said it to a client the other day. I was like, oh, your face shape. They're like, oh yeah, I've lost about, and then told me the. But that's the initial, but I don't mean harm, but they might be thinking, for God's sake.
It's funny, you know, when you're parenting as well, because like the things people will say to girls, baby girls, and it's and it's just normal. It's so innate in us, like,
like you're so pretty.
Yeah, you're so pretty, beautiful girl. And like people might say that to baby boys as well. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, you're
but like I'm always like, oh, you're so clever. You're strong girl, strong, smart girl.
Yeah, because you're so. I can't wait. We need to see what Hallie's like in 10 years over this. Yeah, it's true because. I've been brought up around weight issues. Yeah. My mum was always conscious of her body.
This is the thing, and like what you observe is so important as well. Like if I'm saying that to Hallie and then I'm like chuntering away to myself, like, oh, you're so stupid. Like, I can't believe I forgot that. Like, I'm useless. Like.
Yeah. But I'm not self-conscious of my body because I've worked so hard for it, so I'm not. You know, in the same breath,
but
people go, I'm happy the way I am, but then they're like this, getting undressed and very...
Yeah, but part of my argument would be, like, you're not self-conscious about your body because you're maintaining it at all times.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
why wouldn't you?
And you'll
see what her brain's doing.
Yeah, and you'll notice, like you say, you're like, I know I've put a bit of weight on. You're aware of it, and you're like, and I know what to do about it. And it's like, well, yeah. So you're not going to feel self-conscious. But if for any reason, right, let's say you broke your leg.
It feels broken now because I'm injured, but that's another story. Yeah, go on. Don't say this to me. This is really upsetting me now.
Yeah, but this is like we're picking at the core of like what so many people battle with, so many women battle with when it comes to appearance. Like, I'm not sat here as a person that's exempt from it. Do you know what I mean? But I just think, you know, it's hard. Like it's nuanced, and But if you broke your leg and you like physically couldn't work out and you put on like a couple of stone. I'll come back and I'm pretty sure you'd be telling me you're feeling self-conscious.
I'd never, here we go again. I'd never put on 2 stone, even if I broke my leg. Touch wood.
Right.
Oh my God, it's going to happen to me now. Touching wood. Already I'm thinking, right, you just
But
be
do you see like the amount of stress that it's causing you to think that you'd be in a position where you wouldn't be able to exercise?
I'd hate it. It's my mental health though. Most of it's my mental health.
Well, it's that, but... You know, there's obviously other stuff.
Keeping trim, but not... Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Oh, my God. No, a lot of it is my mental health, but I can eat so much more because of training. Yeah. So I'd know I'd have to rein in my food. But who wouldn't? Because they're not training anymore. It's sedentary. You have to, don't you?
No.
Oh, no. I can't be feeling fluffy all the time. Anyway, that's another conversation. Look how we do this. We will talk about... we'll do some like proper like subjects. So for this one, time management. So if you're
time management and everything else.
But just to give, before we finish off here, to give you feedback on time management that helped me is put everything in your diary.
Yeah.
Because it's just that little reminder to do that.
Not a paper diary if it's you, though.
Not a paper diary, a digital diary that's on my phone that flags up.
It's fine if you want a paper diary.
Yeah. And then, God, we are so opposite on a lot of things, aren't we? And then write down what are your priorities, whether in business, personal life, doing that thing, saving for that holiday. We will talk money management as well. And just to, what's the word? Just to say, confirm, these are only our experiences. And we're not experts as in, like, we're not telling you what to do. No. My way's not the right way. Jordan's way, what calories I eat, what calories you eat. Do you know, we're not saying.
No, it's just, it's good to discuss things and not always agree on everything, isn't it? Because, like, you know, there'll be people listening being, like, not agreeing with you. There'll be people listening being like, what's that therapist on about? Like... And that's fine, but I think it's always good to like bring these things into the light and be like, it's all right if you've got a different opinion to somebody else.
Exactly.
Like, what works for you, you know, where are your pain points, like what needs work, what doesn't. Like,
exactly.
You know,
exactly.
Like we're all doing our best.
Just to say as well, I haven't weighed myself since 2018. So
I know.
Remember that when we go back onto the, when we talk in our next episodes about, I don't know, how you look, insecurities, this, that, the other.
Yeah.
And like, obviously I'm like 3 stone heavier than what I used to be. And in fact, meeting Steve has not made me. When you are more content, you do change. I'm going to say it like that rather than about weight.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for listening. Have you got any questions ready for the future podcast episodes that we've mentioned or any ideas for episodes, let us know and we'll speak to you very soon.
Bye.